Hello everyone, today I'm going to be taking an in-depth look at my Bahco 8-inch Model 31 adjustable spanner here. If you've seen my previous video on this spanner, you'll see how I managed to strip it down and clean it up and get it working again and bring it up to where you see it now. Before the review it looked like this and it was a considerable mess. And then afterwards, once I'd cleaned it all up and finished with it, it looked like this instead, which is much better. Right, as you can see, it's got the usual adjustable jaws at this end, which you turn the roll around to adjust them. And we have an interesting configuration at this end too, guys. So what we'll do is let's just take a closer look at it. Right, and we'll start at the jaws, and you can see there's been a little bit of a wear and tear. Somebody's abused it a little bit, I think. What else we got going on here? Is there any more damage to it on the other side? Yeah, there's a little bit. I don't know what somebody's been doing with it, but there's a little bit of damage. And also I noticed somebody has actually used it as a bit of a hammer. If we take a closer look here, you can actually see where the damage has been done. And you can see here on the ends where the damage has been done. Someone's hit it, used it like a hammer, which is a bit naughty really, to be honest with you. And if we flip him over, you can actually see where the ends are burred over. And this is where I had the problem getting the adjustable jaw out of the unit when I was cleaning it up. It was actually one of my YouTube viewers that pointed this out, that it could have been abused and used as a hammer. And I've got the wonderful smell of 3-in-1 oil in my nostrils here, guys. And it does bring back memories of my father. Here's a little roller that adjusts the jaws, which are working really smoothly now. And of course this is a quality spanner, so there isn't really that much play in the jaws. There's a little bit, but there's not a great deal. I've got a cheap adjustable, really cheap adjustable. I'll have to show you the difference in the jaws. This is an adjustable spanner or wrench that I picked up when I was working for a company about 10 years or more ago, and you can see it's pretty horrendous, the amount of free play in the jaws. I mean, look at it in here, rattling around, look. Let's go back to the Bahco. As you can see, the Bahco is made with much more precision. There's not any thumping great gaps. I mean, it moves a little bit, but there aren't any thumping great gaps like there are in the other, the cheaper spanner. Moving along to the handle then, we have V-steel here. I've tried to do some research on this, and I think basically what this is chrome vanadium steel. Then we have 8-inch Bahco, Model 31, made in Sweden. And then we have this interesting end going on here. I think this is for like getting studs or pipes. I think that's what it says on my little document I've got down there. It says it's a pipe wrench, but I think you could use it for, you know, removing studs from brakes and what have you. If you take a look at my example, you'll see it's had the little lumps ground off of the ends here of this particular wrench. I think this is done by people who want to get something a little larger in here than they should do. The company designed it to keep you from putting larger items in here. I've seen other pictures online. I was doing some research on it, and a lot of these things that I've seen for sale do actually have these bits ground out of them. If you look at the picture from the document I've got, you'll see there's two little nobules in here, sort of thing. And I think they're, as I say, designed to stop you getting too large an item in here. What have we got on the other side? We've got the patent number there, by the looks of things. 407 patent. Bahco Sweden again. And there's a little bit of oil escaping just here, guys. Just a really nice little spanner, actually. The tape measure here gives you some idea of scale of the thing. It is actually 8 inches long, although I think it's a little bit longer than that, to be honest with you, but they class it as an 8-inch adjustable. Let's chuck it on the scales. 293 grams, or 10¼ ounces. Right, so now I've cleaned this thing up. It's really nice to hold, actually. It's nice and smooth. There's no sharp edges or anything at all on it. It's really nice. And also there's a little bit of rattling from the adjustable jaws, not a great deal. If you listen to this cheap set here, just listen to the difference. I mean, that's pretty slack, nowhere near as good as the Bahco. This end of the wrench is very similar to this spanner I've got here, which I picked up from China the other month. I've got a review on my channel of this little fellow, but it's a similar idea, but as I say, I think this is more for like getting studs or whatever out of brake drums if they're seized in, and you could also use it on a broken stopcock shaft if you needed to. If the handle is sheared off or you haven't got the little turny handly bit for it, you could actually use this on there. Okay then guys, enough talking. Let's get the little fella down to the workshop and see what we can do with it, shall we? Okay, so here we are in the workshop, and as you can see, the Bahco is sitting next to this rather old adjustable spanner that was once owned by my late father. Right, and I've got a few bits and pieces here that we can try with the both the adjustable end of things and this end of things too, guys. So what we'll do is we'll start with let's try this size first, shall we, guys? Now obviously it goes without saying that you can use an adjustable wrench on any size of nut and bolt. So we've got this little M4 here, I think it is here, so we can tighten that up, and we just bring the jaws on and tighten them up onto the nut itself. And to tighten it up, we will push the wrench in this fashion. We don't do it that way to tighten things up, we do it that way to tighten the nut up. And you can see I've got a fair amount of torque on there, and we turn the wrench over. Just tightening back up again. Turn the wrench over to release it. Right, let's move up a few sizes in nut and bolt. As you can see, the jaws are still adjusted for the smaller nut, so they're not going to fit onto this one, so we just adjust them out a bit. And you can see it's nice and loose. Tighten him onto the nut itself. And here we go, now it's getting nice and tight. Can we tighten it up? How much torque can we apply to this nut? Quite a bit. And there we go, that's nice and tight. Get him off. Hang on. Adjust him to fit. Right in. So what we can do with it. Oh, here we go. I think we've loosened the whole bolt off in the two nuts that I've got tightened together. Right, and I've got an intermediate size of nut and bolt in the vise now. And we're going to give the other jaws a go. See how they clamp onto it, because you've got the little teeth here which should get hold of the nut on the corner there. You're not going to be able to do it very tight, because I'm thinking if we apply too much torque, it's just going to rip the corner of the nut off, to be honest with you. Apply quite a bit of torque to it, but the thing is with this is you can slip it round like so to tighten it up. Turn him over and we can loosen him off again. It's quite handy if you're working in a confined space with this style of jaws, because if it's getting a bit tight in there, you can just turn it back. Just turn it back a little bit at a time, and it'll just sort of ratchet over the. There you go, jaws. So if we do it too much, it will actually rip the corner off the nut. Might be worth giving it a go if we don't damage the me knuckles. See if we can rip the corner off the nut, guys. No! God, no, we're not going to do it. Blimey, hopefully we'll be able to see the teeth marks in there. Yes, you can quite plainly see the little teeth marks in the edge of the nut there on the corner. Let's have a look at how much torque I was actually able to apply to that nut. Hang on, get this spanner going. Here we go. Right in. Let's have a look, guys. God, blimey, yeah, I was able to apply quite a lot of torque to that. Right, and in the absence of a proper stud and a shaft on a stopcock, what I've got is this little nut and bolt here, and I'll just put the tighten the bolt into the vise a little bit, and then what we'll do is we'll get an Allen wrench, thusly and tighten it up. Just jamming the thread into there a little bit, but we'll come on, let's tighten him up a bit. There we go. Now we're getting some torque going in there, guys. Right, that's nice and tight. Okay, right, and so we'll just use our imagination and pretend this is either, as I say, a stopcock shaft or a stud in a brake housing. Hopefully we can do something with this. Let's have a look. Will it grip it? It's getting onto it, yes. There we go. It is actually biting in it, guys. Hopefully it won't slip and do my knuckles in. I know it's not doing the thread a lot of good on it, but... Okay, so we just managed to tighten it a little bit more there. See if we can undo it a bit. Will it grip it? I think this is probably a bit on the small side, guys. Give it a go. Here it goes. It's got hold of it. Yep. Once it gets hold of it, it does a reasonable job. There we go. Loosened it off quite nicely, but we have we've done a bit of a damage to the thread, obviously. Yes, it's chewed the thread up very nicely indeed there, as you can see, guys. So it looks like I'm going to have to run a dye down this to clean the threads up a bit, I think, guys, if I'm going to use this again. This set of tap and dies used to belong to my late father. It's BSF and UNF, so I don't think it's going to be a lot of use for a metric thread, which we've got here. I believe this is a metric thread, so it's probably not going to fit it. Okay then, guys, so as you can see, there's still a great deal of life left in this old spanner here, and it's a lot nicer since I cleaned it up as well. You know, it feels nice and clean, and it also smells of 3-in-1 oil, which was my father's favourite light oil, as I remember it. He always had a can of it in his garage. This is the last one that he ever bought, and it's in a plastic container, but all the ones I remember when I was a child, they were all in little metal containers, and they were a little bit smaller than this, I think. But yeah, dear memories. Okay then, guys, as I say, there's still a lot of life left in the old girl now. It's going to be living in my toolbox, and I shall be using it on a regular basis in the future, I'm sure I will, because it's a lot better than this thing here. I mean, this is a 10-inch. This thing here that I picked up a number of years ago. It's a bit rattly. It's nowhere near the quality of the Bahco here. Okay, guys, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below if you still have one of these, if you still use it on a regular basis. As I say, this is going in my toolbox, and I shall be using it in the future. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. You can click a like if you enjoyed it too, and you can share the review with your friends as well. You can also follow me on Instagram. There's my Google Plus page too. You can support the channel via Patreon if you wish. I've got a couple of guys already doing so. Thank you very much, guys. Big thumbs up. Now, I know you won't find one of these on GearBest, but if you click on my GearBest link in the descriptive text below, I've got a special link down there for you to click on. You can go along, purchase anything you like from GearBest, and you'll be supporting the channel in that way too, guys. So thank you very much for that. Okay then, well, thanks for coming over again. Thanks for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the review. Please let me know if you've got any questions or comments on the spanner. I like it. It's a lot better since I've cleaned it up. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the review then, guys. Please come by again, and I'll catch you laters.